You are listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
Jimmy Gaines.
Welcome to the Empire. It's the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
This is Trevor Harris.
Hey, how you doing? This is number 58, Travis Bond.
This is Christoph Malomba Chimanga.
Hey there, this is your co-host, Kenny Stafford.
Hey, this is Ryan King.
Calvin McCarty.
And you are listening to...
You're listening to the Eskimos Empire.
Listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
The Eskimo Empire Podcast. Hope you guys enjoy listening.
Welcome back to the Turf District. It's time to talk some Eskimo football once again. I am Andrew, and joined tonight, because Superfan is not here, we are going to go straight to the Commissioner. Ooh, who's well prepared. How you doing, Kayla?
Hang on one sec. Great.
I like the slurp noises.
I had a rough few days at work starting from last week, and it just continued on until this. So I was looking forward to a gin and tonic after my little bit of whiskey.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll be quiet about that.
And thanks to Jake, who brought gin.
I know, it's like Jake listens to the show.
Who would have thunk it?
It's crazy.
What?
It's unreal.
Nuts.
Very nice. Now, also sitting in as a co-host this evening.
Who could it be?
I don't know. It's crazy. If anybody watched the Periscope, they automatically know. But he's sitting in, taking time out of his week of partying. It is the one and only Paul Reckner.
Greetings.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
Excellent.
That is the most badass hello ever.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I know. Greetings. Wow, that's wonderful.
You should be an Audible author.
And salutations.
That's what I'm waiting for. Is the we can just start the Eskimo book for the Esks History segment today. I'll just give you one of the books. You can just start reading it. We'll just enjoy that. So we've had a game to talk about, which is great. We are going to have some more camp to talk about. You guys were both at the tailgate. What'd you think of the tailgate, Paul?
Great as usual.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was absolutely stunned to see how many Smokies you took down.
Yeah, I know. 2.
That's
pretty good.
You're so modest.
Yeah,
I counted at least 8.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did you use a butter trick?
No,
Oh.
sure did not.
Labor Day.
Are you out of your mind? I'm
Yes.
never eating that many, but I'm glad that you have that faith in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it was great to see people and get fed.
Yes, I mean, tailgate to me is just like that. That's the kickoff. Like, I love when we go to the first day of training camp and you're seeing everybody and it's all exciting, and then you get to tailgate and it's just like, okay, we're all eating, we're all chatting, we're all excited, and that hype level just goes.
All
right
the
up,
anticipation
right?
before the game. And,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. It's a fantastic part of it. Kayla, before we introduce our guest, I just want you to talk a little bit because you're wearing the Edmonton Stingers hat this evening. And at the tailgate, you were telling me about how an amazing experience that was.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm really biased. I love sports. I'm a sports enthusiast. The only thing I don't really watch is golf. Because why would you? Just kidding.
Because it's exciting. Okay, that's fine.
For landscapers.
I mean, it's great for
landscapers. Jeepers.
And naps. I mean, put you to sleep right then. Yeah. I mean, anyone who likes it, go ahead and watch it. But in the meantime, you should have gone to the Stingers game because it was so much fun. It's a lot of fun. Especially the fourth quarter, counting down the atmosphere when it's closing in and you're tied or you're up by 2 points. It's just like everyone's on their feet, like. It's just
video podcast just for that part. Yeah,
just imagine 5,000
people
doing that.
That's exactly. Yeah, I'm picturing the whole crowd.
Ears.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I think it's a really fun thing, especially for families. It's pretty inexpensive. They also have a deal, me plus 3, and I think it works out to be like $14 a ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Ooh, Empire field trip.
Exactly.
See?
Exactly.
There you
Ooh,
go.
we can take a guest.
Ooh,
A
fun.
lucky guest.
We could have like a contest to see who wants to come with us on an Empire field trip.
That's a dangerous contest.
Oh, it'd be so much fun. Yeah,
Dream
exactly.
date with Dave and Morley.
Dave and Morley?
Yeah.
Dave and Morley? Yes. I like this.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend it to anyone who loves sports, who loves basketball, or just wants to spend an evening out and hang out with friends, have a cheaper beer than Rogers Place in Commonwealth.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
Awesome.
Is it very fan accessible? Like, can you get up and massage the shoulders of the coach?
I'll let you know this Friday.
Is there a game this Friday?
There is a game this Friday. Yeah,
right then.
yeah.
Saskatchewan.
Oh, I'll have
Rattlers, I think.
Ooh, I'll have
You're
to
probably right.
find out here. Well, we've chatted now. We probably should introduce our guest. Hey, I didn't mean to exclude you. Okay. So tonight we have a brand new featured fan, and we haven't had a featured fan here in a while. So this is
Break the
outstanding. Curse. Exactly. We need to have somebody here.
Wasn't I featured last week?
Returning.
Yeah, but you were returning. See? I am so glad I caught the sigh on Mike. That's outstanding. So welcome to the pod, Jacob. How you doing, man?
This is awesome.
Oh, hey, he really does listen. This is great. So we love having fans down here, but I want to find a little bit about your fandom. Now, we talked a little bit on the podcast that you've had tickets since before you were born, but kind of how and when did you kind of really come to realize, oh, hey, I'm an Esks fan and I'm going to follow this closely?
The real fandom started in, as I said, in the Periscope 2013, which was, for Esks fans, not so great of a year.
It's a tough one. You hung in there, though. That's good. Yeah.
Turned around. I remember in high school, I was in construction, and I didn't do anything all winter except rewatch Eskimo games. I probably watched more film that season than most players that off season.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it just turned up then, and ever since I've been diehard.
Oh, that's fantastic. And where do you sit in the stadium now?
Section W, row 40. Come say hi.
All right, excellent. So does that put you right under the cover?
Right. We're pretty good. We don't, no rain, nothing. Okay. We're good.
Ah, nice.
East.
I know. I'm not holding it against him.
Just against me, apparently.
Yeah, that's fine.
Come to the sunny side.
I don't hold it against you either.
Right? Like,
I just like to be on the dark side.
Don't look at me, but I'm not white as a ghost.
Nice job, Casper. Okay.
It's under the awning. That's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
Probably
okay.
Smart. So, do you have a favorite player? Past, current, both?
Ooh. I'll go both past. When I was growing up, obviously in the Fred Stamps era, you can't not pick Stamps, and obviously with him coming back to the stadium on the 14th, that he has to have a mention. But I don't know if my favorite player has actually ever been mentioned on the podcast. Not when I've been listening.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
intriguing.
Maybe you can change it, but
probably.
My favorite player. Let's see if you can guess him. He went from special teams to star special teams. I'm not sure if he was captain. Probably wouldn't be. To captain special teams, to linebacker, to star linebacker, to NFL.
Dion Lacey?
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Pull. Yes.
Correct. The way that guy, I think what got it for me is West Final 2015 when he just stared down Bo Levi Mitchell in the coin toss. That, like, when you have that much charisma and you can amp up a stadium that much, how can you not love a guy like that? And just the way he progressed. It's like, it's the Eskimo way. Stay humble, earn your position, and now he's playing for the Bills. So Bills?
I think so. No. Yeah.
No. Buffalo,
Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, what's that? Bill Nation or whatever what do they call it? Bill Mafia.
Bill's Mafia.
Bill's Mafia. That's what it is.
Ask Chris.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was trying to rack my brain for it. Well, now we have mentioned him on the show because I actually interviewed him, so
Yes.
there is one out there. I know that. Yes, he's
awesome.
He's a great dude. Easy to talk to too. So that was a fun one where we actually did Skype where we had it on camera.
Okay.
And so it's fun when we have that angle to it because then you can actually react to one another, and his grandma came in the back and introduced herself.
My God.
And it's like, it was so awesome. He's such a great dude. Yeah. It was really, really fun.
I think, his time here was relatively short, but like Odell Willis and Adarius Bowman, I think he helped kind of redefine something about the Eskimo way.
Yeah.
Because historically, that stare down during the handshakes would not have
absolutely
been. It would have been polarizing. I think it was even a little polarizing at the time, but at the same time, it was a competitive fire. It wasn't meant to be a disrespect. It was, look, we're going to be battling this out sort of thing too. And again, you can put on the face and all that sort of thing, but Laces was he was an intense player.
Yeah.
Laces?
Yeah.
That's a cool nickname. I don't mind that
I'd
at
take
all.
it.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
That's a good choice. Good choice.
Now, on the Periscope, you showed us the ring that you had got.
Yeah.
So that one was you got that one online, right?
I got 4 at a time.
Okay.
I moved. I lived at University U of A.
Okay.
Residence for a year, so I wanted to just get a couple Eskimo things for my room, and I thought rings are easy to transport. They're small enough, so I just put them on my desk, and that's my favorite one, 2003 ring.
Nice. And so you've got the 4 replicas. So now is there anything else in your memorabilia collection that's like, oh, this is the my other thing that I'm really attached to?
Trying to think. I got, I'm not sure if you know the player deck card that they released for the 100th. It was just a bunch of history cards.
Oh, okay.
And I dug out all the Eskimo. It was the entire CFL. I dug out all the Eskimo ones and I framed them. Put a nice $150 frame. Got it professionally done. That's a really nice piece.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah. Post it on the Instagram.
I will. I'll send it in.
Yes, thank you. That'd be awesome.
Professional framing, but self-cresting.
Yeah. Self-cresting.
That's talent.
Yeah, that's very talented. Yes, for those who aren't sitting here, Jacob self-crested his jersey, which is outstanding.
Too obscure?
That was a tad.
Yeah.
It was okay. I explained it.
We
good.
are obscure. So
but
fit
filling
right
in for
in.
Mike, obscure was what you were going for.
So he's very good at that.
Okay,
yeah, that's true. That's very good.
Sorry, you were going for obtuse.
Did I get that too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
What are you most excited for this season?
I'm excited for Harris to shut the doubters up, because when people just, oh, you lost Riley, you didn't do enough, this and that. He was going west. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. He was going closer to his home. He was gone. Give credits to Sunderland for letting him talk a little early, so we knew that we were going to go out and get 100% the best player on the board that we could have in that position. You could argue that Mazzoli, obviously is signed by Hamilton, would be close to Harris, but he was easily the next best player, and an elite one at that.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. Yeah.
No one can.
No.
Well, some people from Calgary might
will.
try.
Yeah, some people will. Yeah.
They'll try. They'll fail. What else is new?
Wow, a little salty over there this evening.
Holy Mazzoli.
Yeah.
One of the evenings this week, we were going back and watching the Grey Cup pregame show from last year.
Oh, nice,
They had a feature on Harris at that time, and they dropped the nickname T-Sniper.
T-Sniper.
I could do that.
Because he didn't really give us one, so I like T-Sniper.
Yeah.
I think that might stick.
The pride of Waldo, Ohio, T-Sniper.
T-Sniper.
Who coined this?
It was mentioned on there. I don't remember which player it was, but it was what he was called within there. It was probably Deontay Spencer or Ellingson or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I hope that he's ready for it, because that's the name he has now. Much like Dobby. Too bad for you. That's what we're calling you.
Sorry, Danny. I've tried.
There was no Dobby as a free elf yesterday.
No socks.
Very upsetting. Yeah, no socks at all. Let's talk a little bit of Esks news here before we get into the game. Of course, the big news last week, SirV with the torn bicep.
Tricep.
Tricep, sorry. had surgery, is out at least 12 weeks, but the news that got better near the end of the week was that it's not likely to be season ending, but definitely a couple of 6-week back-to-back. So I think even you were saying to me, Paul, that, I mean, if he can get back healthy and then is there for the stretch run, not a bad thing either.
Yeah, I mean, import players don't make as much in salary as Canadians, the equivalent position, but he still would have been one of the top 3 import offensive linemen in terms of salary. If we can now save 2/3 of that by 6 gaming him twice, use that to upgrade a few other positions. I mean, if that's, you know, 100,000 or 90,000 towards the cap, all of a sudden that's some significant upgrades. If we have another injury or we have something like that, we have some salary cap relief. And one of the things I was speaking with one of the players this week who was saying there could be another little mini free agents period where there's been some people that have been waiting for the CBA to get wrapped up before signing, and I think maybe Marquise Jackson would have fallen into that.
Okay, yeah.
But also some legitimate people that are out there, starters in waiting, and right now the rosters were all filled by the time the CBA had been settled, and you're going to look at the guys. I mean, we've got 100 guys in camp now.
And then some.
Yeah.
Mini army.
Yeah.
An empire.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
It could be that there are some other plans that come on the heels of this. And again, you've got a capable backup or replacement in Tommy Draheim, who's not only started with us last year and was the starter coming out of camp, but also played with Ottawa, played with Trevor there. He has Trevor's confidence, and Tommy's ready to prove himself. So, I'm as devastating as it was, and I really came to start to appreciate SirV's technique and balance and footwork and all that sort of thing, watching him in one-on-one practice last week.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't see the injury happen. It really caught me off guard to hear it afterwards. But, you know, as much as I appreciate that, I do think that we are going to be okay. And to have the knowledge that he's likely coming back mid-season or slightly after for that stretch run in playoffs, it's much more reassuring than it could have been.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we thought it was season ending, so that's definitely better than what we were hoping for. Or, yeah, better than what we were hoping for.
Yeah,
so that's good. Now, we did have a couple of quick signings. As you said, 100 people in camp. There's going to be some signings. Things go like that. International wide receiver Kyle Sayers Henderson, I think is how you say it, I'm guessing. And national defensive back Bryce Bartlett. And then we did sign and then later on release wide receiver Jake Smith.
Yeah,
so
I think Sayers Henderson was not a defensive tackle.
Oh, I thought I was listed as wide receiver on my
I may have that wrong.
It could be defensive tackle. Well, we have Kyle.
Yes. Welcome, Kyle.
Yeah, welcome, Kyle. Yeah, I didn't call his name on Sunday, so I don't know. Well, he's out there.
I believe he made a tackle. But,
sure. I'll watch on...
he probably caught a ball, too.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Maybe on the sidelines like Mondo. That was one of the highlights of the game.
I really wanted the in-game announcer to say, and completion to Mondo Sewell.
That would have been great. Yes. Yeah, they gotta work on that. Gotta work on those
a few things that we gotta work on for the in-game announcer. It was preseason for everyone.
Yeah, it was definitely preseason for everyone. Did it not blow your guys' mind though? He sounded so much like Al Stafford.
Yeah.
The voice was very close.
Yep.
Although the pronunciation of Nataya, I was like, oh, cringe.
Yes, and
Money Hunter,
Malumba Simanga.
Yeah,
that was. I'm like, just call him Hakuna Matata.
I can speak firsthand as to how challenging it is to fill in for someone and try and sound exactly like them.
Yeah,
he did great. Yeah.
Oh, great for first game, right? I mean, like you said, preseason, right?
For everyone, including refs.
To be fair, I was talking more about myself.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you did
Paul,
great
go
too.
ahead. Tell us all about it.
You did great at the game.
No, I'm filling in for Mike.
Oh, I see. Yes, but you seem to be fine. You'll notice
your feelings.
I didn't. I felt that it was fine. Yeah.
Have some more bourbon.
Let's
flush it.
Don't mind if I do.
Let's talk the preseason game. So Esks win 22-7. It's a preseason game and it means absolutely nothing, but it is nice to still come out of there with a win. And I know it feels good when you get to see some big plays and your team making some big plays. Let's start with you this time, Jacob. What was the standout for you in the game, and what kind of caught your eye?
Well, I guess going right at the very beginning, I love the way the Esks try to hype up their fans, and that intro video, they did it again. It was a great video.
Yes.
Amen.
With the sky views and the great song choice. Just awesome. I like that at the very beginning.
It's a piece of art just to be able to put that video together with players that are even still here.
Yeah.
That's true. It's very true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, not having a quarterback's throw in your intro video might be kind of hard to get around, but they did it flawlessly, I thought.
And they'll likely, because I know last year they did that about 4 games in, they changed it and put some from the first few games so that you actually have some current stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I even noticed that actually because I was looking at, I need to print out some pictures for Fan Day to get signed for the room, and like, damn, all the ones they're not in the right colors. I can't, so I'm going to have to figure that out.
Write down who you
coloring
want.
in.
Yeah, I will. Yay. I know, now that we have this fancy photographer. Yeah.
With a media credit.
So awesome.
Gosh. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but Kayla got her media creds this week. She's pretty excited about it.
I haven't stopped smiling.
That's good. That's awesome.
All access.
Yes. Well, pretty close.
Semi.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me a seat, apparently.
No. It doesn't.
Beside the small asterisk was like no seat available or like whatever.
Right. That's okay.
That's right.
We didn't need that. We were getting our seasons anyway.
I'll buy my season. Yeah.
You don't need to buy the whole seat. You just use the edge.
I'll sit on the stair if you don't mind.
Yeah. Sometimes. Anything that stood out for you right away, Kayla?
Yeah. They didn't post the score on the huge or above the huge TV.
It's weird, wasn't it?
That was I didn't know the score for half the game because I just wasn't. I'm so used to looking up at the scoreboard because we sit close to it. And I'm like, okay, it's still Edmonton versus BC. That's good. All right. Back to the game. And then, I think in the third quarter, I was like, what is the score? I look over. I'm like, yes, okay, we're winning. That's all that matters. Yeah.
I hope that's just a preseason
It
thing.
is. Yeah.
Okay,
someone
good.
tweeted about it to the Eskimos, and they're like, yeah, it will be, just not today. Good. So I'm assuming, again, training preseason, everyone's getting the rust out. Maybe they didn't have enough people. They're training someone. Who knows?
Yeah, but it was
Important
weird not
thing
having
is,
it up there.
they'll have it for stamps.
Probably the number lock was off on the keyboard.
They didn't reset their computer.
Well done. Yeah, I was doing updates and they decided,
heck with it.
Can't use that. Yeah. Okay, Paul, anything in the preseason game that's jumping out first thing for you?
Jumping out first thing would describe Don Unama.
Yeah.
There you go. Set him up.
That was
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And what did he play?
Sam.
3 series? 3.
Sam linebacker.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. 3 series, and he made an impact on every one of those series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he played until Herbie called down and said, "Can you get that guy out of there? We want to evaluate some others." No, what an auspicious start to his Eskimo career. If Larry Dean and Jovan Santos Knox can make even part as much of an impact as he did, we're in for something special this year from that linebacking core.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we all attribute that to him coming on the podcast last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, President, if you just want to come on every week, we can make this happen for you.
Another
week.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought there were a couple other sort of, I don't know, you'd almost call them sophomores. They're veterans, but like Josh Johnson and Brian Walker in the defensive secondary that both came on and showed their experience. I mean, they made some big plays. I think Walker had an interception, and Johnson definitely some big breakups and some big hits. Mm-hmm. So I was impressed with both those guys.
Yeah, those are great picks. Absolutely.
Sorry, were we doing what impressed us? Because that was
there.
not a very good.
We're getting. I'm gonna don't worry. I'll come back around. Yeah, it's all good.
I was a very pitiful answer.
I have to say it because guys, we got a punt return TD.
Yeah.
I understand that this is preseason and, not everybody is kind of always going to be on the same page, but the return game looked miles better than it has in years.
Yep.
And with more than one guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't just J-Rob. It wasn't just Stangby.
J-Rob.
J-Rob.
I love it.
J-Rob, T-Sniper. We're just all the laces. They're all coming out tonight. Yeah.
The Law.
I was just... that's Mondo. Yeah, we talked about that last week. Yes.
Oh, yeah, really sweet. Yeah.
I was so impressed with the special teams in general. Hughes punting, outstanding.
Always.
And I was just so happy to see a return game.
Money.
It was awesome.
Solid.
Absolutely.
Didn't miss.
Absolutely.
Nope.
Yeah, 2 for 2. So that was great. Okay, so on the player side now, I'll switch over again. Go ahead, Jacob. What was the players that jumped out to you?
Gotta look at my depth chart. You just mentioned Jordan Robinson, obviously, over 100 yards on the day for him. That was incredible. But where I'm gonna go is actually the QB position, and to be honest, I was scared going into the season because you got your elite quarterback at the one spot at Trevor Harris, but behind that I didn't know if we had a guy that could throw a ball. And O'Brien and Kilgore held their own like ridiculous. They were throwing balls so hard guys couldn't catch them. Yeah. Got to get some more stick 'em. But yeah.
Okay, now out of the two, just because you brought that up, out of the two, who would you say is in the second role after watching that? Just I'm basing it on one game. I understand, and there's lots more camp and things like that. But who'd you put in the 2 spot right now? I
hate hurting Danny like that, but I gotta go Logan. He's had that starting. What do you want to say? He started before, I believe, in Toronto.
Yeah,
he has a lot of games under his belt. O'Brien's kind of the old boys club. That's why I don't want to knock him down. He's been here for quite a while. So, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to give the job to who does it best. So, it's just a place on the depth chart. But at the end of the day, you do have to have a second string quarterback. So right now, I'd give it to Kilgore.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Anyone else agree? Disagree?
I think it's too early to tell.
Okay.
You look statistically, Danny was 10-16.
Yep.
He had a couple that maybe could have been caught. He had a couple where receivers bailed him out and caught virtually uncatchable balls. That one by
Bryce Bobo.
By Bryce Bobo.
That Bobo one was
radius that he showed. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
At the same time, Kilgore, I think he was 3 of 6. Great corner route to Von Smith for the touchdown, and that's obviously what's going to show up on the highlight reel. And he did have a 1-yard plunge, but he'd also fumbled a snap on short yardage.
Right.
Only 6 attempts in relatively similar time. It felt like they were alternating those guys a little bit.
Yep.
I think both of them are going to make the roster as 2-3. I don't know that it's determined what the order is. It may go well into the season. I mean, maybe you don't have to declare an order with those, that you can use them situationally as who's the better matchup.
Right.
But I think they're both going to be very good for Trevor. Danny and he are very close. Danny's a very cerebral guy. I remember the interview with Trevor saying that O'Brien was one of the quarterbacks that he'd learned the most from in his career so far.
Right.
Just guys that watch film the same way as he does necessarily, and he's played with Hall of Famers. So
no, it's very true. It's very true. I thought, out of just watching the two, the way the different poise on the field, I thought Logan had a better game this game.
Yeah.
Right? That was just my feeling on it, even though you're right, numbers wise, I mean, it was fairly close, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're giving Trevor a bit of a pass here, too. I mean, he had pointed out in one of the post-game interviews that if this were a practice, it would have been their 6th one.
Right.
So this is much more of a timing-based offense than anything
run
in the past.
For sure.
And he's talked about that this is actually a bigger adjustment than what he thought with a Moss offense. I've been there, I played in that, I know that. Yeah. Well, it's evolved so much since he would have been in it as well. So it's a steeper learning curve than he had maybe anticipated when he got here. So if we're kind of giving that grace for them, why you'd give it for the backups as well. The timing seemed off on these. There were a few throws behind guys and that sort of
absolutely.
thing. But both of them each had some highlight moments. Like you said, Danny hit Torrance Gibson over the middle. Just he had to get in the way of that ball, basically. Stuck it on him. Yeah.
He had to get in the way of that ball.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, Kayla?
Yeah, no, I'm going to echo you guys. And I mean, it's one game, but I'm thinking more of training camp and what I saw with Kilgore. In the game, we all love Danny. Like, I love saying his name, for goodness sake.
Dobby is a free elf.
Right?
Come on. Hey, Moss, can you please give Dobby a sock? Come on. Let him run.
But then he'll leave.
Yeah. No, I meant for him to run.
Oh, okay.
That's what they need to call the play. They need to call the play socks. And then Danny just gets the ball and runs like crazy. I'd be okay with that.
Oh, goodness.
He probably hates that nickname, but I'm
probably.
Yeah,
but I can't get away from it. It's funny.
Dobby is a free elf.
It's awesome. Yeah.
In the game... No, it's amazing.
Yes.
Kilgore was just, I think, personally watching a little bit more sharp than O'Brien. They both did, like you said, numbers-wise, and Danny's a veteran here. He deserves a spot. He'll get a spot. Him and White are absolutely always in sync. But in practice, watching Harris and Kilgore, they were absolutely in unison. It was freaky. I have some pictures, and they matched each other stride for stride. And that absolutely blew me away. They looked like they were twins feeding off each other. Like their momentum, their throw, the speed, the spiral, everything was identical. It was creepy. But I just noticed that, and it's very illuminating, but also very settling that we have someone whom is actually watching Harris, learning from Harris, and matching Harris.
Yeah.
Just in case something
could come in handy if need be.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We don't want that, but yeah.
No, and that's not saying, again, anything on Danny. Absolutely nothing. But it's just that's what I saw in training camp. That's what I kind of saw in the game. It's just that really sharp throw from Kilgore.
And that's what you want. You want a guy to step up and win the job, not to
Well, that's it. Yeah, you want
default.
competition, right? Yeah. That's the whole point of.
What did you think of Jeremiah Briscoe?
I thought he had a cannon of an arm. And again, it wasn't that many plays, but I would like to hear more. I'm only going to be able to hear and not see, but I would like to hear more about how he does in the game next week.
Yeah.
So is there a roster spot for him because Danny's taking that holding position?
I think it'll be sort of what we would call the Zach Klein spot.
The practice roster spot.
Okay. Practice roster or injured list or something along those lines.
Yeah, he didn't look completely out of place.
No. Great pedigree. I think just some learning curve, and it's been interesting to watch him sort of progress through the week as well. There was some nerves early on where, some fumbles and some ball control issues, but I actually came away relatively impressed with his poise in the game.
Good. All right. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Now, we've talked a lot about the offense. I'm going to flop over to the defense for a second and talk about Vontae Diggs. Very, very much stepped out or really stood out to me. 5 tackles with a sack. But the play that I think really just blew my mind was where he basically put that offensive lineman on the ground and still got through and got a sack. It was, I know it's preseason, you shouldn't maybe have, but still, it was like, whoa, stand up and take notice.
Go for it.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
That physical play that doesn't really come through in practice when you're on your own guys. Yeah. He, you talked about Lacey earlier.
Yep.
It's probably a pretty decent comparable. Very physical, quick player. I'm excited to see the depth that we have there.
Okay. Just have that Tekken KO.
Nice. What did you guys think about the battle between Bully and Hoover in the safety spot? Did you watch that at all, or did you catch any of those?
Nope.
I know you did.
I didn't find any particular separation between them.
No.
I thought they both played reasonably well. Again, we're talking a defense that didn't give up a touchdown.
Yeah.
Regardless of the opposition and whether you're playing second stringers, third stringers, fourth stringers, that's an accomplishment anytime you're playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last season, you felt that ambition and that motivation with the defense, but you held like they were being caged, like they were being held back. You could feel it. You could absolutely feel it. And I don't know about you guys, but watching them, you could almost like see the radiation of anticipation of like, I can't wait to get these starters in a game to absolutely destroy the offense. Like, that's what I was getting, and I'm getting that from like all the players on Instagram, just like the hype that's coming with it, the talent to back it up. I'm stoked, y'all.
That's what I'm so excited. Like, that's what we need. That's one thing that absolutely ticked me off with Benavides. He'd be tentative to send blitzes, and then they destroy us on the back end. But with Lolly, it's if 4 isn't working, we're bringing 5. If 5 isn't working, we're bringing 6. And I just noticed that when now they're counting up quarterback pressures, I wouldn't be surprised you get a quarterback pressure on at least every second play from our defense this year, if not every single play. You're going to have some form of quarterback pressure, a hand in the face, a sack, something.
And they're going to want it. And that's the best thing is the players are like, oh, I'm coming for you.
And they're allowed to do it. That's part of this. That's part of the scheme, right?
Yeah, it's going to be that balance between aggression and discipline.
Absolutely.
Manage your assignments, stay in your lane, take care of what you need to do, trust in the guy next to you to do the same. But we're bringing that extra guy. We're bringing that stunt. And it wasn't long ago that it was considered bad form in preseason to blitz. You know, that other teams are wanting to evaluate your quarterback. It's almost the gentleman's agreement kind of thing. But now, I mean, this is the defense we're going to be running. You have to see how these guys perform in that defense. You can't just hold them back and play vanilla. So, I was excited to watch the way they were bringing DBs and middle linebacker blitzes and pressure from everywhere.
Very, very exciting. Absolutely. All right. Well, every year, Paul, we have you here, and we talk about who is the new player that stands out to you. Now, when we did this 4 years ago, it was
4 years.
Yeah, because we've already had 3 winners. This is the 4th year.
Suck it, Dovey. This means 5 times now.
So this is the 4th. This is going to be the 4th winner,
right? But this will be my 5th appearance now. So, like, I get the robe.
You've got to be. Yeah, you've got to be there. I guess. Right. Yeah, you must get the robe. I'll count back and figure out to make sure.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So wait for the next tailgate now.
Maybe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The new king of the north.
So now, who would be this year's
Jimmy Gaines
winner?
You know, I hinted at it last week, and he's followed through. He hasn't let me down. He's climbed the depth chart. Taekwon Glass.
Ooh, okay, right.
Yeah. Now I got to ask you, because he was the one that had that one horrible pass interference / face mask penalty, which gives a little bit of a moment, but yes.
You know, it was probably a bit of an unnecessary one, and that the ball wasn't particularly well thrown on the play, but I think he sort of got turned around a little bit. But this is the guy who, basically, if you look at any depth chart, he's probably listed as around the 4th or 5th string for the early on. And granted, A.J. Orange hasn't been healthy enough to play in camp, and that is at that position. And Maurice McKnight did leave the team to take a job with FedEx, I understand.
I didn't even know that. Okay,
yeah. Okay. So there's been a little thinning there, but watching him on special team drills and blocking angles and that, he's really looked like a special teams demon in camp, and just constantly progressing and putting in the work in camp. And I thought, with the exception of that one play where you know, obviously a 30-yard penalty is not something you can do again.
It's not well favored.
Yeah, I thought he had a very good game otherwise. Yeah, and was in there with knockdowns and you know, coming up and closing on guys and some recovery speed if he did lose a step on a guy. So I was excited when he signed. I mean, he was on my radar a little bit last year, and I kind of been rooting for him along the way here, and he's exceeded my expectations in camp so far. So
awesome!
All right, I'm picking him.
This year's
Jimmy Gaines
winner, Taekwon Glass. I'll have to try and catch up with him this week, and we can see if he is happy to have the honor bestowed on him.
Oh, who wouldn't? It's just.
I mean, it really. I mean, he should be there.
Is there a plaque?
I'm working on the plaque.
Yes,
I need a plaque for the room for the Jimmy Gaines
in the
Award
shape
winner.
of Jimmy. Yeah.
That's in the shape of Jimmy. Maybe not. Yeah. But yeah.
Fine, do it your way.
We'll make it a robe now that you've mentioned it, and just put the names on them. Winners get a robe.
Is there an honorary mention?
There is. I was just about to ask.
Sorry.
Do you have an honorary mention that you would like to put in?
You want me to present it?
I have one, but if you have another one, I'll let you go ahead.
I'm going to go with Kayla's.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we're in agreement.
Okay.
We should be.
Okay, just who is it?
Oh, calm down.
Suspense.
Just mind melded over to me here.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I feel a little bit vindicated from training cramp.
Training cramp.
It was a cramp.
I had training cramps on day 2.
He definitely held his own. He had over 100 receiving yard.
100 punt return yards.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Averaging 20 plus ish.
Yeah.
We'll do the plus. Give him a few.
Yeah.
But let's give a big shout out to Mr. Jordan Robinson.
J-Rob?
J-Rob, the J-Rob. Oh, yes. Hi. Yes. I'm so excited.
Now, here's the thing. He is ineligible for the Jimmy Gaines Award.
That's why he's an honorary mention.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Was that fine. This? Did I mentally telepath it? Yes.
Yes. He has done amazing things in this camp. Yeah. And I'm excited to see him take that next step.
Well, especially with Shaq apparently getting injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any details on how long Shaq's out, but honestly, you were watching them, and with Martese Jackson as well. Mm-hmm. They're kind of the same style of player.
They're all three of them are kind of the same. Yeah,
we're all expecting CJ Gable to have a bigger year with not having Mike running the ball from the quarterback position. But I think these guys are going to play a valuable role, sort of a change of pace back, and I'm not sure any of them are necessarily the prototypical 2-down bangers, but putting them in there as a change of pace back, the H-back, I guess they call it, sort of the receiver out of the backfield. Get him those balls in space, and it could be a huge season.
And I think that's what we need is someone that isn't typical. Sure. We need to change it up, right? I mean, you're getting gas in there for special teams, so why not mix it up and have someone a little bit different running style as a returner? And who knows, that little backup for CJ Gable might be open for a little bit, and might want to prove herself a little bit. Come on, J-Rob.
All right.
Excellent. Did you want to try and follow that?
Well, I could try, and I would never follow it properly. But if I was awarding for this year, I would have awarded Devontae Diggs. He's really, really stood out to me the entire camp. Yeah. So I would give him the honorable mention. And but the winner is you get to pick. So
if there were two Jimmys,
if there were two Jimmys,
a John and a Jimmy, maybe? A
John
Gaines, Jimmy Gaines.
Jake, do you have a honorable mention?
I don't want to state one because
that's fair.
Would Tavon?
Yeah, Tavon, absolutely, he would fit. Yeah,
with the speed in training camp and that one, I mean, you could argue it was Kilgore's beautiful Ricky Ray corner route. Tossing the basket, nice. So he didn't do much. But
no, the separation he got on that route was, you're right.
He had 5-10 yards of space. So, just that alone, that gives you a little hint into what that guy's capable of. And, it's going to be a good season for him.
Yeah, that's a good
awesome. Pick. Outstanding. Well, let's take a really quick break, and then we will come back with a little bit more quick CFL news and a very special Esks History segment.
This is Don Unumba, and you're listening to the Eskimo Empire Podcast.
The Eskimo Empire Podcast is brought to you by United Construction Company. As a full-service commercial general contractor, United Construction Company serves large and small-scale commercial, light industrial, and multifamily residential construction projects across Western Canada. UCC is a relationship-focused builder, forming a trust and respect that is at the forefront of their commitment to quality, value, and integrity. Visit their website at unitedconstruction.ca to find out more and support them as they support the Empire.
Get loud for me. Get loud for me. You can join the Empire online.
Find us at eskempire.ca.
Check out all the new blogs and then follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
For more history, follow at Esks History on Twitter.
And even more of my pics on Esks Empire Photo.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to help the pod grow. Thanks again for listening. Let's get back to the show.
Welcome back. We need to talk a little bit of CBA once again. It was ratified last week. 73% vote for ratification. Did anybody expect that to be a bit higher? Jeez, what game are you two playing?
His face. Oh.
Peek up over the mic.
More.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't know what to expect.
You didn't? Okay.
For when it came out on 3 Down Nation, I think Brian Ramsey's confirmed this, that they actually let rookies vote.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Which was an issue with some contentiousness because by the definition, they're not yet CFLPA members because they've not yet paid dues.
Right.
And yet they're going to be affected by this CBA, potentially, those that make rosters.
Absolutely.
And so it kind of makes sense that they'd have a say in that sense. But there was a concern that by allowing them to vote, that it was diluting the vote of the anti-CBA, those that were not in favor of ratification.
Right.
And there was some speculation that sort of veteran Americans maybe didn't get enough out of this one or didn't get some of the things that they wanted. So I didn't know what, I think it was a strong deal for the players.
I thought it was, yeah.
I think there's a lot of gains, but I think some of the initial reporting that both sides were in favor of reducing the ratio and changing that sort of thing, and having that not actually play out, it could have affected the perception of some veteran Americans that actually felt like that was taken away from them.
Well, it also affected some veteran Canadians, as we saw some of the reports coming like from Antoine Pruneau, who believes that they are trying to reduce Canadians and these types of things, and so there could have been a negative spin on that for some of the players, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was a little. I just thought it might be a bit higher because they had the unification in the strike vote. I thought there would be a little more unification in the ratification vote. I mean, I'm happy it passed. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. But yeah, it was just that was a bit surprising to me.
I think I want to say the fact that they didn't change the ratio. Correct?
Right. Yes.
That's very important. It is, at the end of the day, the Canadian Football League, and you need those Canadians to be playing, to be on the field, to inspire the new generation of kids that won't look up and see only Americans playing and won't aspire to playing in the big league.
Right.
So you have to have at least some Canadians, and when you drop it some, then the next CFL, then the next CBA, who knows, it could drop even more, and then eventually it gets to none.
It could. I don't know that it ever would.
It wouldn't get to none, but
it's a slippery slope, though.
Exactly.
I mean, it was 10, not that many years ago, and it's dropped to 7, and if it was dropped to 5 or something like that, I sort of reminded when Black Panther came out as a movie, there were African American people that were saying, I get to see a superhero that looks like me, that I can identify with.
Right.
And maybe it's not quite the same thing, but for younger Canadian kids, I mean, they maybe aren't focused so much as this guy Canadian or American. They just have their heroes and their idols and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it is meaningful to see guys that went to your high school or came out of the U of A or something like that. And those guys spend more time in the community, so often they are more recognizable as well. So I think it is important to maintain the Canadian ratio from that perspective. I also think from the salary cap perspective it is, because it's not like that premium that some of the Canadians get paid as starters is just going to automatically be shared amongst the Americans.
Yep.
The owners are going to make the case that we can get American players to play for this salary. And so they will claw back that salary cap. It will be harder to negotiate raises in the salary cap going forward if you don't have that ratio for Canadian starters.
Right.
And I'd love to find a way to change it a little bit so that you're you're not having a backup Canadian making more than an all-star
right.
American at another position.
Yeah.
And there's some ways, one of the podcasts in the off-season, you talked about a separate Canadian salary cap and stuff. And Mike and I offline went through some of the math on how would this work and that sort of thing. And maybe there is a more complex structure that can work towards that. I'm not in favor of a quarterback salary cap or a maximum for players. I want to give that flexibility. You spend your money how you need to, but there needs to be something in there to help level that aspect to it, I think.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. The new era uniforms were revealed. Did anybody have any thoughts on those?
Did they change? No,
not really for us. Really for us, very little.
No.
The Montreal ones, though, let's be honest. I freaking love those, man. I want to get some gear.
Yeah.
Toronto. Ooh. They took away the stripes. I thought we had it bad with 2 stripes. They got none. It's a white jersey. It says Toronto.
Powder blue numbers.
I didn't really.
But the blue on blue is all right. I mean, I thought it was okay. Yeah. I thought it was okay. But there was none that I'm like, ooh, I hate that. And there was none that I'm like, oh, that's the greatest thing. I'm excited to see when they do the redesign for next year.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm hardly even allowed to dress myself. So.
Although that one hat with the Eskimos logo on the front and then the half Canadian flag.
Yeah.
Or maple leaf.
I really like that, except for the flat.
Yeah, but that's what this was. I curve them.
Yeah,
I curve all of mine.
Yeah,
because I don't like the actual curved ones. I don't like the designs on them usually.
Oh, okay.
But this one was a flat tie. It looked ridiculous on me.
I think you can pull it off.
No, sure can't. All right, now we have no superfan Mike tonight, but I cooked up a little something special. So let's go for a special Esks History Moment.
Ooh.
Let's hear you cheer and holler for a mighty famous team. Let's hear you roar, you know what, for a team that's on repeat. Our voices rise up to the skies, the fans are glad to scream. We love those Eskimos.
Welcome back to the Esks History Moment. With all the news of the camp's opening and us armchair GMs making our picks on the next guys, we overlooked a rather big news story in the retirement of one Ricky Ray. The all-time leading passer for the Esks joined in 2002 and was forced into action with the quarterback injuries. Little did we know that the former Frito-Lay driver would become one of the most prolific quarterbacks to play the game. He won Grey Cups in both 2003 and 2005 with the Esks, before that very dark day in 2011 when he was traded to Toronto. He holds a great deal of team and CFL records, but I'll leave that for Superfan to provide that information. Tonight, I thought we'd share our favorite memories from when number 15 played for Green and Gold. So, let's start with you, Jacob. When you came into this, you talked about Fred Stamps and how that's kind of how you connected to the team. Yeah. And at that point, Ray was the quarterback. So is there a memory that you have about Ricky Ray or something that really touched you as far as Ricky Ray when he was on the field?
I think 2 things. I think just how humble of a guy he was. You wouldn't see him parading around after. He'd obviously celebrate like anyone else, but after he'd throw, this is my second point, that patented corner route to Stamps, just feather it in, kind of like we saw with Tavon this past weekend, but I'll leave that aside. Just that play, I don't want to say defines him, but he patented it in the CFL, I want to say.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Oh boy. Also a little bit of 2 things. Just him as a character. The emotion that came with him leaving really speaks a lot about a person on and off the field. Mm-hmm. When you can impact a fan base that much. Mm-hmm. But also, it's not a good memory, but I didn't realize how much I adored Ricky. Mm-hmm. Whoop.
Yeah.
Until he got injured.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I saw him go down.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It was a tough one, right?
Well, I can't even hold it together right now.
Yeah.
But I think, like Jake said, he's humble, he's poised. He's just that it's so weird that I'm going to say delicate person, but he's so strong. Like, he's just an oxymoron himself, but anybody would be lucky to have him as a person, as a player, as a coach. Eskimos. I don't really have a favorite memory, because I think that's when I started watching the Eskimos as you with the Fred Stamp, actually the Tucker days. And then it was Ricky Ray, and he actually was my first jersey.
Right. So
I have Ray on my back, and he is the only number still that I have on my back for one of my jerseys. So I think it means a lot that we had a quarterback like him in this league. And I really hope and pray that he comes back to any team as a coach, and he continues on his career within the CFL, because I think as fans that would mean a lot to all of us, not just the teams he's played for, but as the whole league in itself.
Absolutely.
I've got to narrow it down to about 5.
That's
I think in game, one of the biggest memory, and it's odd for a guy who was known for his corner routes and his passing game and all of those sorts of things. Mine was a game at Empire Stadium in Vancouver, Timpire.
Oh, yes.
And he ran for over 100 yards that night.
Jeez.
And I don't remember what season it was, but he actually had a season with rushing over 500 yards as well. So there was a time when Ricky Ray ran.
Yeah,
there was a time when Ricky Ray had hair.
Yeah.
I have it on good authority this offseason that Ricky Ray also dances at weddings.
What?
Oh, my goodness.
Footage must be found.
Travis Lule's big scoop after he retired. Cody Fajardo was getting married, and Logan Kilgore was there, and Travis and Ricky and all the guys that he played for with both the Lions and the Argos, and Travis broke the scoop that, in fact, Ricky Ray does dance. So,
there's got to be video somewhere.
I'm hoping. I've been trying to lay hands on that. My off the field thing with Ricky is after the games, the players used to hang out in Terry Vaughn's downtown when he had the bar. It was the old McLeod building.
Yep.
And I got to talk to Ricky there after a game when it was apparent that he was heading down to the NFL. And just kind of saying, if this is the last that we've seen of you up here, just what an honor it's been to having watched you play this game and conducted yourself so humbly in the community and all that sort of thing. He was just so gracious. And again, that even keeled, being able to show appreciation and all that sort of thing. But it was never a swelled head or anything like that.
Right.
So glad that I got a chance to express that at the time, and glad that we came back and won another cup. And the management of the quarterbacks in that 2005 run, I mean, not to make this about Danny Machocha, but wow. as much crap as he takes, that was brilliant. The way he played Moss and Ray down the stretch, sticking with Ray in the Grey Cup game in 2005.
Yeah.
What a stretch run that was.
Absolutely. I could, I don't know if I have any one single memory, but I can tell you one thing. It was amazing to watch a Hall of Fame career happen in front of our eyes, especially from a guy that was coming in, like I said, due to quarterback injuries, and just light the world on fire. That 2002 season, I remember when Moss got hurt, and my past more pessimistic ways of turning to my wife and saying, well, that's it. That was our first season back, having season tickets together at the stadium, and like, well, that was fun. Didn't take very long before we've got nothing. Well, I guess this new kid's going to come out. And by the end of the game, I was like, I can't believe this guy. Like, this is otherworldly to see a guy come in and light it up like that. And like you said, he would go to the sidelines and just be like, yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Like, what? Okay.
So he is responsible for the softer, gentler Andrew.
Yeah, probably, yes. I found a way to... I try not to be quite as negative. Sometimes I am, but I try not to be... I just realizing that where is that next guy? And he taught us that not only was he the next guy, but went on to have this all-star Hall of Fame career. And I think it was just an honor for all of us to get the opportunity to watch him play.
Yeah.
Well, he is from Happy Valley, I believe.
So it's perfect. Perfect.
Just dovetailing on Kayla's case about coaching. I mean, it's pretty easy to draw the line there with Jason Moss as the head coach. No quarterback coach in the fold right now. Past relationship with Trevor Harris. They text regularly and are friends. And obviously the tie to the city. The city that he never wanted to leave. So, it seems meant to be.
It would be a hero's welcome.
Yeah.
It would be a hero's welcome.
Can you imagine? Can you actually imagine what that would be like?
Yeah. Just him and Tucker throwing corner routes in practice.
Oh, yeah. If they could.
I can't.
Okay. What we do know, and as we end this segment for now, is he's going to be on the wall, and he needs to be on the wall.
Yes. Absolutely.
As soon as the Eskimos can arrange that to happen. I'm hoping that when that happens, Tucker will run that corner route for that one moment, and we can relive what I believe to be one of the best quarterback careers in the CFL.
Going for a touchdown. Going for a touchdown. Going for a touchdown. We love those Eskimos.
Huzzah!
Absolutely.
Not a bad segment?
No, not at all. Well, I mean,
I think Mike will be impressed. I hope so.
I think so.
Much more impressed than my idea.
Louis Riel stories?
No, the history of the Esks history.
Oh, the history of Esks history? Yeah.
Would it be all about Mike?
All about Mike, yeah. I thought about it, but I realized we overlooked the retirement and we needed to give him a whole segment, so I think that was worth it. All right, so now that we've finally got that dealt with, and I think the most appropriate way, and we'll let Mike add in his gems to that next week.
He missed his chance.
Well, that's what happens. No, we'll give him a chance. Yeah, exactly. We'll do a very quick kind of, I guess, preseason preview for the next game. So this game is Friday night, 6:30. Now, it's only on Ched, but I'm hoping that some of our very good Blue Bomber fans would be kind enough to throw a bit on Periscope so that we can just see a little bit of what's going on. What do you guys expect, or what do you look for in a second preseason game? I'm going to start with you this time, Paul, just because I know that you've been watching all the camp.
Yeah, it's all about evaluation. There's going to be very few starters that go. Our lineup will look more like BC's was this week.
Right.
I think the one exception is we probably take all, if not most, of our offensive line.
Right.
There's so many permutations to work out. There were configurations last game that never appeared all week in practice. I mean, Matt O'Donnell playing as much as he did at right tackle was something I just hadn't seen through the week.
Bond at right tackle. There was a lot of rotation on that spot.
Bond played 3 positions in that game. He was left guard, and right tackle. So versatility.
Yeah.
But again, it's figuring out what are your options. What can we go with? So I expect there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to get that look and that chance to solidify a spot. You're going to bring a couple of leaders along, but for the most part, I think the veterans stay behind. And one of the things in the CBA this year was that you can't fly in and fly out the same day for games. So all of a sudden that impacts travel costs. If you're bringing 90 guys, even if it's 2 to a room, the per diems, the hotels, the flights, all of that sort of thing adds up. So I think that will affect how they approach it a little bit. A couple of years ago when they played in Winnipeg, I was at the preseason game, and they brought all the vets, and they were just on the sidelines, and they were standing around, and they were supporting, and extra set of eyes, and you just don't have that luxury right now.
Yeah, like you said, you may see a couple, but not the whole swath.
So they don't consider the distance? Because that flight's only like an hour and some, isn't it?
But if they have to go the day before, then you have a hotel room, and then you have all these other things.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like for a preseason game, going in the morning, because it's only like an hour flight, that's not...
And that's how they always would have done it. But
but that's not going to be acceptable.
I guess it was deemed too hard on the players' bodies.
What about Calgary?
That's interesting.
That's interesting because we should be, because we're not flying in then.
We're just driving.
Yeah, by according to the rule in CBA, it didn't really seem to have any exceptions in it.
Oh, okay.
So
but that kind of makes sense.
Well, I mean, same with Toronto and Ottawa too, right?
Yeah,
like it's just the distance.
Yeah,
but,
and again, I guess we don't have to worry about it in preseason this year with Calgary, but in a regular season, you would go down in advance. But
yeah, absolutely. Jacob, anybody in particular that you're wanting to hear more from or see kind of where they're at?
More of a, I'd say, general. I'm looking forward to hearing about just the defensive scheme and how they're gonna. Since you're not playing with your starters, Lolly will be able to look at how his scheme works, just with a completely new set of guys. And so if he can get it to work with them, he can get it to work with veteran guys who've played in his scheme and in other schemes under other guys. So if he can get the balance of extreme pressure and backing off when they think you're sending pressure, then it'll be a dangerous defense.
Awesome. That's great thing. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of bouncing off what I'm hoping. Probably it's not going to happen, but since our vets, most likely all of them aren't going to go, and these are all the new kids, I'm wondering if the coaches are going to kind of throw some stuff at them, some weird plays, something they're not really maybe familiar with, just to see how they handle the pressure. Of weird, just unique, different plays that they haven't really run in practice or training camps, just to
fake punt.
Yeah, well, you never know, right?
The 30-yard play. Yeah.
Just to kind of iron out a little bit more of the kinks, but also really to see how these guys are going to handle pressure and situations that they're not going to be able to control all the time. So obviously we can't watch, but I'm hoping stuff like that will happen, because for this team, I want the best of the best, because I want to go down to Calgary and win it in their stadium, in their locker room. Let's go.
She's not setting high hopes or
not
anything.
at all.
No,
they made a fool of me last year.
That's true.
You think Trevor Harris doesn't want the same thing?
Oh
I
boy!
can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm going to go with. I'm really looking forward to some of these heated battles are kind of coming down to the end, like the Bully and Hoover battle. Even to I don't think completely, but you said all the offensive line battles, all those different guys. But even in the receiver battle, I want to see. I'd like to see more of Tavon Smith. I'd like to see a little bit more of Torrance Gibson, and give them a little more time. And if those other starters aren't coming, well then, who are going to be those depth guys, right? Who are we going to see? And I see a guy like Natea J going, because he'd be a bit of a leader and a vet there. But to try and kind of, is he now pushing somebody to try and get that next spot and show that they're going to take that spot? Because it's that's I think where the two biggest focuses are right now is our receiving core and the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think we still have to figure out where we're going to have that seventh Canadian as well in the starters. Moss, in an interview this week, was expressing confidence in the Canadian depth and was saying that they could start 4 Canadians on the offensive line if they chose to. And I think this week's scheme sort of proved that out. And again, you're not necessarily playing against the Odell Willises out there, but it Kyle Saxley held his own both at right tackle and right guard. Matt O'Donnell was playing out there at right guard as well. So there were times when we were going with that 4 non-imports on the offensive line. We know we're solid for at least one receiver spot with Tavon and Anthony Parker and Tay. But can we get 2 out of that?
That's right.
Is that second one maybe a rotation with a fullback or an Alex Taylor or something like that, where you don't have a designated starter so much as a platoon, depending upon the set and the formation. We ran a lot of double tight end stuff this last week as well. So I think that's one of the key things is just getting a little bit more information in terms of figuring out where that other ratio starter is going to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be important before we get into that. I guess we have a week in between before we get to the beginning of the season. So now on a happier note of things that we can actually watch, Fan Day is this Sunday. June the 2nd.
It's already June? That's
I know.
Crazy.
1 to 4 at Commonwealth Stadium.
The brick field
at Commonwealth Stadium, absolutely. We will be there for sure, so make sure you come down, find us, and say hello, and then we're going to try and catch up some more with some of the players there. I love Fan Day. It's one of the days I circle every year, so I'm excited to be there.
No, I always like when people find out if you really can catch footballs with your face.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. I don't usually, but
No, it's sneak attack.
What?
Sneak attack.
Sneak attack is wonderful. That makes me a little worried.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Mini footballs only, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'm okay with mini footballs. That's fine.
I was a witness that you can't once at one game. It was hilarious. I witnessed it. It didn't happen to me, but it was still friggin' hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It would be very funny. Very funny. Well, Jacob, thank you for coming down and having fun with us here and chatting some football. Tell everyone where they can find you on either Twitter or Facebook and all those other fun things.
I'm not on Twitter, unfortunately. I should get on.
You're not?
No.
Oh,
I'm on.
The cool kids.
I got a lot of Eskimo stuff on Instagram, though. If you want, you can follow me at Jake_Sperling.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, man. That was awesome.
Maybe
and thanks
I'll
for
just
bringing
go.
in the ring. That was outstanding.
Oh
and obviously
And
the gin, because, Kayla was really happy
Kayla
about
had
that.
to have her.
That's right. It's very good.
Thanks, Fred.
Lovely.
Besties.
Paul, where does everybody find you?
For the next 2 days at Commonwealth Stadium.
Perfect. Excellent. I'll see you there Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then back to Victoria for me, so no fan day.
All right.
But,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Next year.
The Odyssey's over.
That's right.
Ooh, is that you?
It's funny. I was getting chirped by a short little equipment manager about my haircut. This coming from the guy with frosted tips. Yeah.
Outstanding. As he should. Yes.
Yeah.
And where do they find you on Twitter? And plug Payline. Come on, do what you're supposed to do.
My wife gave me some feedback on the last week's podcast. Said,
okay,
you did great, honey, and all this. But I don't think anyone knows that they can actually use Payline by us as well.
So maybe we should put that in there.
Yeah. Just to back it up a little bit, and thank you for the opportunity. We help people move money internationally. Right. So whether it be traveling to the States, whether it be those that have owned a property down there, or buying a car across the border, or traveling to Europe, or those sorts of things, we do help out. Mm-hmm. Rich uncle passes away and you have an inheritance coming in another currency.
Yes.
You know, all those sort of everyday occurrences.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything currency related. I mean, we love to help out, and our sister company, ICE, the International Currency Exchange, they have the airport locations for cash. So those that are holidaying or vacationing, going down to Mexico or something like that, the Edmonton Airport, they've got a couple of locations as well, and they have a great online product called Click and Collect, where you can order your currency in advance, and it's not your typical airport rates, and they waive all the fees. So, but yeah, what we do is for the players, and again, it's just making it easier for them, saving them on the exchange rate, saving them on the fees, and just letting them do it whenever they need to. And with signing bonuses finally no longer being withheld and getting into guys' bank accounts this week, it's been a little busy being on vacation.
I bet.
But it's living the dream, like I said.
What's the Twitter handle for your company?
Payline by ICE.
Search,
little at sign in front.
Who you talking to? Yeah, I didn't even need the.
She's
follow.
Got it all sorted. That's wonderful. I've used that for when we traveled, and it was outstanding. So, I highly recommend people getting in touch with you to get that all organized. That was great. Yeah, and thanks again for coming back down for another show. Appreciate it. And sitting in for Superfan.
Yeah.
I like that laugh. That's perfect. Yeah. Commissioner, where does everybody find you?
On the tweets at Duchess Lombardi. Perfect. You can try to find me on Instagram, but I probably won't accept your request.
All right. Well, then we like you on the Twitters. That's just fine. You can find me at Free Policious, and of course the show at Esk Empire Pod. Thank you as always, of course, to our sponsor, United Construction Company. Check out their website, unitedconstruction.ca. You down with UCC?
Yeah, you know me.
There we go.
Oh,
yeah, you really got to get on board. Okay. And of course, follow Pay It Forward with Football on Facebook.
Yes.
Get those nominations still going into Quentin and Samantha. And congrats to Sheila. She was the first winner. Amazing story. And I got to talk to Quentin about that. And so glad to see another person taking in an Esk game.
Are they going to post the stories?
No, they'll share bits when they can. But that was it was just nice. They did get a picture of them sitting in the seats. And all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What an awesome program.
Yeah. I love it. Absolutely love it. So while you're online, might as well find all of our social media and things. You can find all the links on eskempire.ca, as well as past shows, including a chat with Dion Lacey, if it laces, as it might be. You might want to check that out. We'll be back next week with another breakdown, as much as we can, of the second preseason game and a little more camp news as we get into the final week. And, of course, we will break down a bit of Fan Day as well. So the question this week is, do we want even more of the same from the special teams? Absolutely. For Jacob, Paul, Commissioner Kayla, and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.
Who's this Mike guy?
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.